It is time for another Brittany's Bites, and we are working on a very simple recipe today. We are past Easter now, and I thought, what do we normally do for Easter? We dye and color those eggs, and then we're left with a whole bunch of hard-boiled eggs left over. Well, if you do have some of those and they're still good and they've been in the fridge, this is a recipe you can try, but of course you can always make it with hard-boiled eggs. I thought, everybody does deviled eggs. Everybody does egg salad. This is a little twist that kind of went viral a couple of years ago on social media. We're gonna make grated egg toast. Yes, we're gonna take a hard-boiled egg and we're gonna grate it onto a piece of toast with a little extras. And you'd be surprised at how much that sort of elevates a typical egg sandwich because it becomes sort of nice and fluffy and the texture is very different. So hopefully you'll give this a try. But let's get started with the basic recipe that we need to do, which is to make those hard-boiled eggs in case you don't have them already made. So I'm just gonna use about 4 eggs today because I have a small pot and I don't need to make a huge batch of these. So I'm just gonna put 4 eggs in here. And this is my tried and true hard-boiled egg recipe. It always works every single time. So you're gonna put the eggs in the pan first, then you're gonna fill it with cold water till about 1 inch above the eggs, which I'm gonna do right now. And you don't want your heat source on yet. So again, eggs directly in the pan before you even put in water or start the cooking process. And then, and it's cold water, you're gonna put it back on your burner surface and then you're going to boil. And as soon as it reaches a boil, you're gonna put the lid on and let it go. Just let it sit. You turn off the heat and you just let it sit. You do not remove it from the heat. So again, we're gonna bring it to a boil and then cover it, turn down the heat and let it sit for 10-12 minutes if you like it to be a little bit more done. And then immediately you're gonna put it in an ice bath and sort of stop that cooking process, and then it makes the eggs easier to peel as well. So again, one more reminder, eggs in, fill with cold water, bring it to a boil, and then as soon as it reaches a boil, lid on, set for 10 to 12 minutes, and then immediately into an ice bath. So I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna come back and get started on the next step. Our hard-boiled eggs are done and ready to go. They've been in that ice bath. I managed to peel them and they turned out beautifully. Haven't seen inside yet, but trust me, they're gonna be great. So we're gonna set those aside for just a minute and then start to build the other pieces of our sandwich, or really it's gonna be toast. It's gonna be just one layer of bread. I mean, you could put another one on top if you want, but then you can't see the pretty grated egg, which I'll show you here in a moment. So I have this sourdough loaf. I do make sourdough myself. I just did not have one of my sourdough loaves on hand, so I had to buy it from the store. But this is a cracked black pepper loaf, and I thought that sounded great. So by the way, let's talk sourdough for a moment. I don't know how you like to slice yours up, but I have found this to be the best way so you don't get those huge long slices unless you want them. So I first just cut it in half, so you get a half like this, then turn it like this, and then do your slices. And then you get nice little slices like this. How great, right? So I did that, and then I went ahead and just toasted up 2 little pieces of bread. So I'm gonna set those aside. Those are gonna be our base, one or both of them. The next thing we wanna do is make some avocado. Now you can just slice up some avocado. You also can totally leave this out, by the way, but I have an avocado here. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll see. I'm gonna cut into it here. Where is my knife? Here we go. I've never cut into an avocado on camera before, so hopefully it's a good one and it turns out well. I'm not gonna try to get the pit out right now. I'm afraid to do that. Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful. All right, so I'm just gonna scoop this out into this bowl here and mash it up. Again, you could slice it up and make it look pretty, but frankly, you're putting things on top of it anyway, so you don't really need to do that. All right, just a couple of parts I don't love. I'm gonna get off there. Okay, put that in here. Now to this, I'm not gonna add a lot. Some people add a little mayo, especially if you're doing sort of the egg with it. I'm not gonna do that. Some people also add a little olive oil. I'm going to add a little bit of lime. So I have a little half of a lime left over here that I'm going to squeeze some lime juice into. That also lets it keep its nice green color too, because citrus will help do that. And then I'm gonna put in some salt and pepper, a little of that. And also sprinkle in some red pepper flakes. And you also do not have to put this in if you don't like. I don't want to put too many in, so I'm gonna just grab some and sprinkle in. There we go. Okay, now it's time to mash it up. I've got a fork here to do that. It's a little bit of a not quite ripe avocado. Okay. Give me a minute to do this. And then we want to make sure that it's spreadable to go on our toast. So let me get this all smushed up and then we'll move on to the next step. It is nice and spreadable now. Of course, you can leave some chunks in it too. That's fine, however you want to do it. This is just a nice little at-home recipe. And again, you won't really see that part of it anyway. So I'm gonna grab my plate over here and then take one of my pieces of toast that turned out so great. I like this, it's kind of scooped up a little bit. And I'm gonna spread a little thin layer right here. That's good, maybe a little bit more. All right, put that aside. Beautiful. Okay, the next thing I want to add, again, you can leave it at that if you like, but I'm going to add a slice of tomato. So I really like to use Roma tomatoes normally because they're sort of less juicy, right? So you get a lot of the firmness and the flesh of the tomato, I guess, but they did not have those. So I got this regular red tomato, which should be fine. It was one of those little tomatoes on the vine. So I'm going to do some nice thin slices. Yeah, this will turn out just great. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 little slices. Actually, I wanna do, that right there. Okay, move this out of the way. I've got tomato juice everywhere. The next thing I wanna do is add a little seasoning. And for that, I'm gonna do the everything but the bagel seasoning. You could just do salt and pepper. You don't have to do anything at all. I'm gonna do a little sprinkle of that. And then we're gonna get to the main part of the show, folks. All right, so I'm gonna take an egg, and you can use any sort of grater you like. My mother loves to get me miniature kitchen utensils, so I have random things all over the kitchen. I've found out that this is pretty easy to use because you can sort of focus where the egg is going, because it can get kind of messy. And frankly, some chunks can break off, and that's all okay. But we'll see how this turns out. So I'm just gonna take this and then grate the egg all over the top. And look at how pretty that is. I mean, I just think it makes it look all that more appetizing, and it's working great so far, by the way. Look at that. And you can grate on as much as you want, the entire egg, not the entire egg. You can do most of the egg white, you can do the rest of the yolk. I'm getting a lot of the yolk there, as you can tell. I might see if I can get some of the egg white there too. There we go. Great, love that. Okay. There's only one last step that I'm gonna do, and actually, I need to grab a spoon to do that, so give me one quick moment, I'll be right back. I'm back with my trusty spoon for the very last step. Again, you can leave it like this. I know a lot of people love to do a drizzle of sriracha on top, but I love to do chili crisp. If you've seen this in the store, it's fantastic. It's a nice little addition to so many dishes. So I'm gonna do a quick little stir, and you don't have to put a whole lot on, it just gives it a little zing. So I'm just gonna take a scoop, and then sprinkle it right there on top. Now, how great does that look? And by the way, that made it smell so fantastic. There's a lot of garlic and chili, spice and onion in there. And this is the final product here, our grated egg toast. All it takes is a few simple ingredients, and you can sort of elevate your lunch. And this can be a pretty appetizing thing to look at if you're thinking like, oh, what am I gonna do with a hard-boiled egg? Give this a try. If you would like to see the full written out recipe, you can go online right now to WBIR.com.